If I ever program something like this ever again, they would never coach with me or for me ever again. That's a big thing. I never say that I had employees. Yo, I kind of like the flow of the last video where I was on the other side of the garage. The only reason I did that is because I did not need the computer, which is over there. What I do need is this stack of flashcards. And what is in this stack of flashcards are a handful of workouts that I grabbed from the Wi-Fi that I had when I was an affiliate owner.
It'll be like this one time at band camp.
If I recall correctly, this stack of cards is from the year 2017. And I pulled what I thought were my favorite workouts from that year. Favorite could have meant either I liked the way that they were written, I liked the way that they actually had played out, or I was just a big fan of the way that they felt. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to go through this entire stack because out of 365 days in that year, it appears as if this might be something around 50 workouts. That's too many, and that's not going to be something where I can do the video. So I want to go through a handful of them. What I learned in the last video is I asked you guys to dislike it. You did that. You played the game, so thank you for playing the game. In this video, let me know which one of these workouts you think is the freaking worst. Why would you have ever written that? That is the dumbest workout of all time, Andrew. What is wrong with you?
Idiot.
We're going to start off with just the one on top, and maybe I'll just go through the ones on top because it's easiest. I did not sort these in any way. It's just a stack of cards that I found that I wrote 2.5 years ago, the last time that I had access to the Wi-Fi portal for my gym.
It'll be like this one time at band camp.
I wanted to grab my favorite workouts so that they didn't just disappear into nothing as soon as I was no longer at the helm of Wi-Fi. Workout number 1 for time. 30 thrusters, 60 wall balls, 90 calories for the men, 60 calories for the women on the Echo bike, assault bike. You choose the bike, whatever bike you've got at your affiliate. The weight on the thruster is 95-65. The weight on the wall ball is the standard 20-14 to the open height target, which for years past has always been 10 feet for the men and 9 feet for the women. We'll see if that changes this year. The way that this was meant to look, I remember writing it, was the thrusters, you should kind of have a chance at doing those unbroken. When you aren't looking at doing 95-65 unbroken for 30 reps, the next question to ask yourself is, can you make your way through that in 3 sets or less? No problemo. 30 reps on the thruster for this workout, which isn't the same as every workout, but these 30 thrusters, you want to have them done under a minute and a half. If you don't think that that's going to happen, lower the weight to 75-55. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter!
The goal here is intensity, because once you finish up that thruster, you're going to be doing a very similar movement pattern, which was the wall ball, 20 pounds for the men and 14 for the women. And then all you got to do is move on that bike, which everyone can do anywhere. I really like this workout.
You're soothing to me. It helps me sleep.
Clearly the 30-60-90 is cool just to look at. It's for time. If I recall, this is a Friday workout. Usually I like to put these burners on Friday. It's something for have everyone show up and throw down and say, hey, how are you going to do the thrusters? Once you plan on the wall balls, you want to go 30-30. What did you hold on that bike? At what point did you pick up? Did you sprint the front? No, you probably didn't sprint the front because you did the wall balls, and you get the idea, right? That's workout number 1. I remember this one too. This is a Tuesday workout because typically I like to do these hanging heavy workouts on Tuesday. So it's 75 toes to bar for time. Every time that you come off of the bar, you got to do a set of burpees. Your first set of burpees was 15. Your second set of burpees was 12. Your third set was 9. And then you'd go 6, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3 for every single break on the toes to bar. There is a 12-minute time cap. So you look at this and you ask, hey, is there any chance in hell that even if there weren't burpees, would you be able to do 75 toes to bar in 12 minutes? You reverse engineer that back to think, are you going to be able to do 7 toes to bar on the minute for 10 minutes, putting you at 70. The 11th minute will put you at 77. It's like, yeah, I can do that. Well, let's see what happens when you do a big set of toes to bar, whatever you got. Hopefully on your first set, you can open up with 10 to 15 unbroken toes to bar, hollow arch, hollow arch. Don't just throw your legs up there to get the rep. Make the reps look the way they should look.
Do it!
And then when you take a break, you do your 15 burpees. Don't jump right back up because remember, you want to hang out 2 bigger sets on this workout. So if you open up, we'll just call it 18. You do your 15 burpees. Let's try to get something in the realm of 10 to 12 before you then do 12 burpees. And every time you get back to the burpees, you do 3 reps less. 15, 12, 9, 6, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. The threes just in a perfect world. I actually remember doing this one. I believe I opened up with 50 toes to bar, did the 15 burpees, and then I did 25 finish after taking a break where I knew that I would be able to do that number of toes to bar. That's one of my better movements. And if I recall, as far as the affiliate members went, just your average everyday person in there, many people were able to make their way through this thing as long as they understood the concept, which were get the burpees out of the way, then take your break, then attack the toes to bar, knowing that if you are able to do 7 a minute and just finish, of course there's burpees in there, of course there's going to be rest in there, there, so you're going to want to hang on to something close to 10s. And if not, let's just make this 50 reps for time. Or not. If not, we're going to turn it into a 12-minute AMRAP. Let's see how far you can get. Just know where it is you're coming from at the beginning of it.
What did you want to be?
That's workout number 2. Workout number 3. This one, I remember I stole it from Rich Froning. I saw him do it at one point. It's 2 sets of 5 minutes of work and 3 minutes of rest. 7 power cleans at 135 for the men and 95 for the women, and 3 bar muscle ups, 7-3, 7-3, 7-3. It's a lot like that open workout, but I believe that was actually 10 power snatches. And what is that, 16.3? But this is 5 minutes of work, see how far you can get, do your 7 power cleans, and do your 3 bar muscle ups. On workouts like this, where there are 2 sets, my intention on them is to see what you can do on the first round, and then ideally repeat or beat on the second round, which is again how I would brief a class to be doing this. 7 power cleans. If you like, you could open up and do your first set touch and go.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
That's up to you, but you're also telling me that on your second round, after that 3-minute rest, you will be doing it touch and go as well. So you better do that. If you want to also do your second round touch and go, we're looking to take that 3-minute rest on your second 5-minute AMRAP on set number 2. That one's also touch and go. Usually when you tell people it in that way, you start to think, okay, maybe I'll want to do singles from the beginning because Andrew already told me what I do here is what I got to do there. It's one of the biggest ways that I was able to tell people how to pace. And pacing is never an excuse to go slow.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
It's an ability to maximize what you can do in the time you're doing it. If you have 5 minutes here, a 3-minute rest and 5 minutes there, pacing isn't meant to do worse, only to do better. Pacing is meant to do the best you can and then do the best you can again, and intensity is work done within that amount of time. So if you front load it so hard and you do 2 unbroken sets on that set of 7 power cleans, and it puts you to such a big hole that you're barely moving for the last couple of minutes, you did not maximize your 5 minutes. Your intensity is lower because you got less work done. So you are still going for intensity on this 5-minute AMRAP, 3-minute rest, 5-minute AMRAP. As far as the bar muscle ups go, if you don't tell me you can go unbroken on them, can you do 2 unbroken? Can you do a bar muscle up? And if they do that 1 bar muscle up, is it jump up and you're done, giving you absolutely no reprieve from those power cleans, then we should first do 2 singles on the bar muscle up. Do a single, take a break, do a single, back to the power cleans. If you can't do it or you're not confident in doing that bar muscle up, 1, is it something you're interested in doing? Is that part of your CrossFit adventure? Right? Choose your own path.
What did you want to be?
If bar muscle up on that, if it isn't, you never had any intention on doing that, then that's fine. You won't be doing them today. Understand what it is that you're missing out on. But this is not the time to practice if you are the person who wants to do them at some point. You are now just telling me we're making some sort of a verbal agreement that we're not doing them today, but we will like to be doing them in the future. What is it that we're doing to get you there in the future?
You can do it!
However, today, we're doing some sort of a pull and a press. I usually reverse engineer that into a burpee pull-up because you're still getting a push and you are getting a pull. Burpee pull-up, about the same amount of time as somebody who would be doing them unbroken for 3, hammering it. You're always trying to make everyone move at a similar rate as you can. Workout number 3. This is taking a little longer than I thought. For time, I bet this one will be everyone. This is the stupidest workout ever. 50 GHD sit-up, 50 toe to bar, 50 sit-up. I actually remember that I had a coach that I was working with at that point who coached that class, told me that if I ever program something like this ever again, they would never coach with me or for me ever again. That's a big thing. I never say that I had employees. No one ever worked for me. I worked amongst other coaches. So while I was co-owner of the affiliate, they weren't my coaches. We were a coaching tribe. So there's just weird words that I'll throw in there and I'm trying to clarify on. But this coach told me they would no longer coach with me. 50 GHD sit-up, 50 toe to bar, 50 sit-up. Why? That's too many contractions. It's going to give everybody a rhabdo. But what ended up happening is, as long as you can brief it the correct way, where it's like, hey, if you've never done GHD sit-ups before, don't do GHD sit-ups today out of nowhere for no reason. If you have, what's the volume that you can tolerate? Can you tolerate 50 consecutive? Maybe you can tolerate 20 and 30 consecutive. If you haven't ever done a GHD sit-up before, and we only have 2 of them, like many affiliates do, probably think about doing something like a weighted medicine ball sit-up, where you've got 20 pound for the men, 14 for the women. Do medicine ball sit-ups, then do the 50 toes to bar, then do the 50 sit-ups. What I remember vividly after this was, this is a workout that 20 to 30% of the membership just could not stop raving about, which kind of put me into an interesting conundrum. I got someone who I really enjoyed having coach with us who said they would never ever coach again if we program this workout again. But then I also have all these members saying, when are we going to do a workout workout like that. Let's do more workouts like that. Like, I need to give you what you want, but I also need to give you what you need. I don't know what to freaking do.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Fuck it.
I'm nothing special ever. I take everyone's opinions. I try to like throw them into the melting pot and say, what is it that we do? That said, we never did this workout again, but I can see it going either way as far as how you guys will feel about it. That's workout number 4. Workout number 5, 20-minute AMRAP, 2,000-meter row, 100 no jump burpees, max of double unders in the time remaining. So the way that I saw it going as I wrote this thing up is most people do the 2K row, men and women, at about 8 to 10 minutes. At which rate, you're going to do 100 no jump burpees. I did the 500 burpees with a jump, and what would probably be a no jump post rowing pace at about 14 or 15 burpees a minute pace for 38 minutes. So you kind of reverse engineer that, which is the way that I always program. You try to think of a number, you try to think of a stimulus, you try to think of an intensity. What do you want them to hold on to?
What did you want to be?
You reverse engineer for different avatars in the gym. You always try to have everybody make it look the way you thought it looked as you were envisioning it. And in this one, I wanted people to have double unders at the end for anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. In a perfect world. It never ends up being perfect, but you can always strive for perfection. So let's just say that you're the avatar where you're going to take 8 minutes on the rower. You do your burpees and you do 100 of them and it takes it 8 minutes. That gives you 4 minutes to do double unders at the end. You can't do double unders? This is a day where, again, just like the bar muscle example I just talked about, do you have intentions of doing them? Can you do them at all? This is one where, sure, you can work on fatigue double unders. And an example, in a world where, say, the Open's coming up and you want to practice with double unders fatigue for the Open, here's a chance to do that. But remember, you're never going to get it doing double unders once a week in a workout like this.
And the truth shall set you free.
So what is it that you're doing to get better at them in the long run? Practice them at least 3 times a week, 3 to 5 minutes a day. What is that? Workout number 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one's a Wednesday workout. I already know from looking at it. 3 rounds of DT, 185 for the men, 125 for the women. 2,000-meter row, 1,750 for the women. 2 rounds of DT, 75 toes to bar, 1 round of DT, 25-minute time cap. Now is an interesting time for me to tell you about the time cap, because I know I put on that toes to bar one, but the 12-minute time cap there and this 25-minute time cap here is more about class management. And it's also about making sure that the members realize the goal, the intention, where I would like for you to finish. There will always be people who do this one and they're going to finish it in fucking 18 minutes because they're out of control, super fit, whatever. However, in a world where you look at this one, I took these things and I break them up into zones. How long is this going to take on this particular Wednesday? Cool, you finished in 18 minutes? As long as the stimulus was similar for you at 18 as it was for the person who finished it in 24, 25, and just so you know, if they do time cap, I'd like for you to at least be into those toes to bar, somehow, some way, deep into those toes to bar.
That's what she said.
Are you doing toes to bar? Are you doing hanging knee raises? Are you doing candlesticks, which people do on the freaking pull-up rig?
It doesn't matter.
As long as it looks similar, you're good. And the time cap is something that I like to do to help people get there. That said, 3 rounds of DT at 185 for the men, 125 for the women. This is before they kind of re-engineered the 125 to be a 135 for the women. It's kind of competition and competition what that will look like. But that 3 rounds of DT is by no means a smoke it. But at the slow end, you want to go 2 minutes a round. And some people might be able to hang on to a minute and a half or even 1 minute rounds just for 3 rounds there. But remember, you got the 2K row. So let's say you're the slow moving person, slow, quote unquote. And remember, I told you 2 minutes, but if you look at 185 and don't think you can do it in 2, what is a weight you can do for 2? And you've done DT, 5 rounds for time, 155 for the men and 105 for the women. If you're telling me you've got a DT time of 6 minutes or quicker, then you should likely be trying to do the heavy, the RX weight here. If you're telling me you're someone who takes 10 to 12 minutes to do DT, that's probably the perfect weight to use on this workout. If you've never done it, you're unsure by any means whatsoever that you're going to be able to make your way through it, let's err on the side of caution. Maybe 135 or 115 for the men and 95, 75 for the women. But remember, we want to be done at this 6 to 7 minutes, that first 3 rounds. Then you're on the row. We talked about the 2K, 8 minutes for the men at 2K. The women here have 1750. And you can give them calories, them being the men or the women. Anybody can have calories. But I try to make these look neat. So you do the 3 rounds of DT. It's 6 rounds total in this workout. And then you got that row. And what number of calories really looks like something that you want to do? I don't know, 100 to 100 calories for time, at which rate the women would do 80. But really, what the fuck? Why not just do 1750 and understand that it's a 2K? And if you look at it as a 2K, it should take about 80 minutes. You've done a 2K before, you've done a 5K before, you've done 500 meters for time before. It kind of removes that obstacle, which is what pace should I hold? Because when you switch of calories, sometimes that's a little confusing. Oh, I'll just hold on to 1,000 calories an hour, la-di-da-di-da. But when you put that over into meters, it's no longer 1,000 calories an hour. It's more like, as a man who can row 215, 220, which isn't what you should be striving for at that rate, in my opinion.
Not too small, too thin.
You want to hang on to something 2 minutes or quicker, which would put you at that 8-minute time goal. And for the women, that 2-minute would be more like a 210, 215. And if you're looking at that 2K row and you're telling me that you don't think you can hang on to 2 minutes as a man or 115 as a woman, maybe we should row a little bit less to hit the stimulus of the workout. But again, it's your world. I'm just giving you options. So you've done that in 8 minutes. You've done that first piece in about 7 minutes. So you're at 15 minutes altogether. Remember, there's a 25-minute time cap. We've got 2 more rounds of DT. You'll be fatigued. So let's just say maybe instead of 2 minutes, you're going to take 2.5. 5 minutes there, correct? We were at 15, now we're at 20, and you've got 5 minutes to get through these 75 toes to bar before potentially getting into that last round of DT. But remember, the goal for anyone at any point was to get into and deep into those toes to bar.
That's what she said.
That's workout number 6. How much time we get out here? Let's do one more workout. Ah, yes. I actually looked through a couple of these, and now I can confirm this is from the year 2017 because that's where I came out with the workout Shrek. Shrek is for time 40, 30, 20, toes to bar, 20, 15, 10, overhead squat. If I were to rewrite this present day, I'm a big fan of taking the 21, 15, 9 and doubling it. So it would go 42, 30, 18 on the toes to bar. It's the exact same freaking thing, but it looks more CrossFit. So the workout would go 42 toes to bar, 21 overhead squat, 30 toes to bar, 15 overhead squat, 18 toes to bar, and then 9 overhead squat. Now, the weight on the overhead squat is 185 for the men and 125 for the women. Remember now, this is the year 2017 for sure. 125 is kind of the weight that would be used in the open, in the regional, wherever the hell else. This workout has a 14-minute time cap. And the idea here is that you're moving through the toes to bar. You do the 40 of them, and then you've got to go to the, what was 20 overhead squats. 185 for the men, 125 for the women. Can you squat snatch it? Of course you can squat snatch it. That is unless you're at the Gauntlet in Lollapalooza, and it's the first time I've ever not been able to squat snatch the first rep of an overhead squat, but whatever. In my world, doing my workout, Shrek, you can squat snatch the first overhead squat.
Like that's ever gonna happen. What a load.
That is, if of course you aren't all fucked up from having done those toes to bar, whether it be in your midline, whether it be in your lat. Are you all closed up from having done all those toes to bar, and then you need to now keep that heavy barbell over your head for 21 overhead squats? That could take upwards of a minute. That is, if you're able to keep on moving at all.
What are you doing in my swamp?
Are you going to miss that first rep? Will you even mess around with trying to squat snatch it? So this one was made to be something where the movement of the gymnastics, pulling toes to bar, upper body, core, strenuous midline madness workout of freaking 90 toes to bar to workout, it's interfering with the heavy barbell. What do you want to do? How are you going to do it? I remember the first time I did this, I was dangerously close to that 14-minute time cap. I was not able to operate that heavy barbell well. And then I did it again in the future, and I shaved, 5 minutes off of this time because I was able to confidently get into that barbell after having gone through a period of time where, after having done this workout, Shrek, myself in the gym, and myself programming for the gym, we did a whole bunch of stuff where everybody was building confidence in their ability to go from a set of high rep gymnastics into a heavy barbell. What does it look like? How do you set your brain up for that? Do you need to clean and jerk it? If you need to, at least you're not messing around possibly failing squat or power snatch to get that thing overhead. Or maybe the only thing that you needed was the confidence to know that it's possible so that you aren't wasting time thinking about it. I finished my toes tomorrow. I know I can do it. You go pick it up and rip that shit off the ground. But again, the workout ends up being 90 total reps on the toes to bar, 45 total reps on a heavy barbell, 14-minute time cap. And if you're talking to everybody about it, the goal is the finish. What's going to keep you back? Are you safe doing the overhead squat here? Are you someone who never wants to do an overhead squat? Well, then you and I have to have a conversation. But if today you'd like to move something heavy like everybody else, do front squats. 185, 125 is still a heavy front squat to be moving, and you're still going to be interfered with because you need your midline to keep that bar up in front of it. Maybe not quite as much as an overhead squat, but it's still going to be a good workout for you, and that's always the goal. This is a different freaking video. Let's see what it looks like on the back end. Remember to tell me which one of them was your least favorite. But the way that I know you guys are going to function is you're going to tell me which ones you liked. Also, maybe go, we're just going to go do this one right now. This is cool.
I'm ready.
Let's go do Shrek.
I feel something touch me. It's Shrek. I'm so happy.
Let's do Shrek. I think I want to go do Shrek.
Shrek is love, I say. Shrek is life.
And really, out.